Are you curious about Papillion, Nebraska? This video is going to talk about the schools, the lifestyle, and the different offerings that Papillion has. My name is Morgan Putnam, and I'm a realtor here in the Omaha metro area, and let's get into it. Welcome to the Omaha Insider YouTube channel. Please take a moment to subscribe so you are the first to know what's happening in Omaha. Papillion is a fabulous suburb just south of the Omaha metro area. It was founded in 1870 and incorporated in 1883, and it is based off the French word that I'm not even going to dare pronounce, but it means butterfly, and is because the first settlers found butterflies along the creek. Omaha metro area is known for being along the Monarch Migratory Path, and so they capitalized on that name and named it Papillion. It was originally a railroad town and an agricultural hub, which is true to all of Nebraska for the most part, and then now is known as just as a suburb of Omaha that is just south of the main metro area. According to Money Magazine, Papillion is oftentimes listed as one of the best places to live in America. So the main hub of Omaha is in Douglas County, and Papillion is in Sarpy County. Sarpy County and Douglas County butt up right against each other, and there is a lot of overlap between the counties and the cities that make up all of the different counties. One of the main things Papillion is known for is that it's really close to Offutt Air Force Base, which is in Bellevue, and Bellevue and Papillion really tend to blend and merge. And so if you are looking to buy a home in one of these areas, it's really important to make sure to double check the schools, because sometimes something that is in Bellevue will be in Papillion schools or vice versa. Papillion has a really strong community, and so though it has become a part of the urban sprawl and is very suburban feeling, there is still a strong sense of community, and it's because they have their own school district, and they also have their own little main street that a lot of people love. As I've mentioned before, Papillion is a part of the suburbs of Omaha, so that means a lot of folks come into Omaha to actually work. So whether they're working in healthcare or education or any of the other large companies that are in Omaha, it is really close to Omaha, so it's easy to get here for work and to live in the suburban area. Offutt Air Force Base is obviously a huge employer. It's really close to Papillion, and so it's really easy to work at Offutt and live in Papillion. Papillion Landing is a community center. It has different ball fields, and there is a big sense of community in Papillion, and Papillion Landing is a big part of that. Papillion is really close to Highway 370 as well as I-80, so it's really easy to get anywhere in the metro, whether you are working downtown or midtown in Omaha or even far out west. It's pretty easy to get around when you're living in Papillion. Even with that being the case, though, there is still a surprising amount of traffic in the Omaha metro area, and so sometimes people are a little bit blindsided by that when they get here. Then they're like, I didn't think there would be any traffic, and then there is. And so it's just something to think about when you are considering living in Papillion or somewhere that is a little bit farther away from where you might work. Papillion is made up of about 25 to 26,000 people. That's approximate because, again, it all kind of bleeds together, so it's hard to tell. The Omaha metro area recently surpassed a population of 1 million people, and so that would include the Papillion area. There are multiple elementary and middle schools in Papillion, and it's called Papillion La Vista Schools. La Vista is another little town that is just north of Papillion, and they share a school district, and there are two high schools, so that kind of gives you a sense of the size of Papillion La Vista and the Papillion La Vista South. These schools are known for having really strong extracurriculars and a really good school system. People tend to love sending their kids to Papillion schools. There are, of course, several private school options, especially in the Omaha metro. There's a lot, and Papillion is also really close to Bellevue University. If you're curious about higher education, it's easy to get to University of Nebraska of Omaha or Creighton living in Papillion. Papillion is a great mix of some older homes and older neighborhoods, as well as a ton of new construction. There is still a lot of land throughout Papillion. You'll notice driving around that you'll just all of a sudden be driving through a field. And so that means that there's a lot of opportunity still for development. And so there is a ton of new construction going on, and then also a lot of existing homes. People sometimes think of Papillion as only new construction, but that is not the case. There is the history of it being a small town and that really cute main street and all of those little homes that still surround that main street area. So there are the homes built in the 20s and the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And then as suburban culture kind of grew, then obviously there were a lot of developments in the 70s, 80s, 90s, up until today, where there is still plenty of new construction. Papillion is still a strong competitive real estate market, but it's not as crazy as Elkhorn or some other places in West Omaha. And so you tend to be able to get a little bit more bang for your buck in Papillion than you might in Elkhorn. The most expensive home that sold in Papillion last year was $1,490,000. That was obviously new construction and a large, lovely home. The cheapest home that sold was $74,000, and that was a mobile home. The most affordable home that sold that was a single family residence was $149,000. The average sold price in Papillion last year was $442,000. It takes 37 days on average for a house to sell, and that the main reason driving up that average days on market for a house to sell is new construction. New construction tends to take a little bit longer than existing homes to sell because they're usually priced a little bit higher, price per square foot. And so that is what makes Papillion have a longer days on market to sold than you might see in the Omaha metro. Overall in Papillion, there are a lot of different city activities going on. There's farmers markets, there's parades, and there, again, the school system has a large presence in this area. So there's just a lot of fun activities for families based around the schools. There are annual events like Papillion Days, and there's tons of different sports leagues and sports competitions you can participate in. Overall, there are a ton of pros of living in Papillion because you are totally in the suburbs and feel separate, and you have access to all of those main stores that you might visit really frequently, like Target or Costco, anything like that. But then you also are really close to Omaha, which is a huge pro, and you can get into the metro to maybe experience if you're into eating out and you want a really good nightlife scene, then you can come into Omaha really easily to participate in that. Some of the cons of Papillion are that property taxes are really high. A lot of these new construction homes are in sanitary improvement districts, so that just makes the tax levy a little bit higher. So you might be pushing towards that 3% tax levy, not quite, but it might be pretty comfortably in the 2.8, 2.7, 2.9 range for tax levies. In the older neighborhoods, you'll find a tax levy that's a little bit more on par with a lot of the Omaha Metro, around that 2.1, 2.2. If you have any questions about Papillion or living anywhere in the Omaha Metro, I'd love to help you. Again, please subscribe to the Omaha Insider YouTube channel so you can be the first to hear about the Omaha Metro. And if you have any questions about your real estate needs, I would love to talk with you. My name is Morgan Putnam, and I'm a realtor here in Omaha, and my phone number is 402-720-9886.